Welcome to the Explainer. So, you know that exact spot in the Bible where, let's be honest, most reading plans just completely go to die? Yep, it's the Book of Leviticus. For centuries, we've kind of treated it like this random, outdated instruction manual full of weird rules and bizarre rituals. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? Well, today, we're going to reframe this book entirely. We're going to discover that it's actually a breathtaking architectural blueprint for life. To really grasp this, I want you to imagine a master artisan working on a project of just unimaginable delicacy, like a cure for a deadly plague. He builds this sterile clean room with super strict protocols. You gotta wash your hands a certain way, wear very specific garments, and absolutely never bring anything from the outside world in. Now, the younger apprentices, they might grumble, right? Thinking these rules are just tedious and restrictive. But the older apprentices know the truth. Those rules aren't meant to restrict. They are a shield. They protect the life-saving cure from being contaminated by the outside world. Well, Leviticus is that clean room. Okay, let's dive into this. We are stepping inside a highly structured architectural blueprint of a sacred space. And here is our map. We've got Section 1, the Master Artisan's Problem. Section 2, Korban, the Way Near. Section 3, the Architecture of Purity. Section 4, the Day of Atonement. Section 5, the Holiness Code. And finally, Section 6, fulfilling the blueprint. So starting right off with Section 1, the Master Artisan's Problem, the nuclear reactor in the camp. We have to set the stage right at the end of the book of Exodus. God's glorious presence descends, and it's acting almost like a nuclear reactor of pure power sitting right there in the middle of the Israelite camp. Now, it's a source of immense life-giving energy, but it is far too dangerous for flawed, sinful people to just casually approach. And this creates a massive, high-stakes problem, leading us to the fundamental, literally life-or-death question that the entire blueprint of Leviticus is designed to answer. How can a sinful people actually live with a holy God right in their midst? See, Leviticus isn't just some list of arbitrary rules to prove how religious you are, it's a survival manual. It is the exact protocol for existing in the presence of pure goodness without, well, being destroyed by it. Now, to really understand this blueprint, we've got to unpack its foundational concept, which is the Hebrew word kadosh. It translates to holy, meaning to be set apart, unique, other, or essentially in a category of its own. God is kadosh because he is the author of life itself. And if God is holy, well then the space around him is also holy. It's packed full of his absolute goodness, his purity, and his justice. Let's actually shatter a pretty common assumption here. We often think of our modern idea of holiness as just, moral perfection or grim, joyless rule-keeping. But the biblical idea is so much bigger than that. It means being set apart, unique, and belonging to the author of life. It's really about existing in an entirely different category that reflects God's perfect order. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stunning literary architecture of the book itself. Scholars call this a chiasm, which is basically a symmetrical, mirrored structure. Notice how the outer layers of rituals perfectly mirror the feasts. The inner layers of priests mirror the moral purity laws. This brilliant design literally forces our eyes to look toward the very center, the Day of Atonement. The structure itself is telling us exactly where the ultimate solution lies. Moving right along to Section 2, Korban, the Way Near. The sacrificial system. Right away, we need to clear up a massive misunderstanding. When we hear the word sacrifice, we usually think of it as a way to, appease or bribe some angry cosmic judge. But the actual Hebrew word is korban, and it literally means to draw near or to come close. This wasn't some system humanity invented to push God away. No, it was God's graciously provided mechanism to close the gap between us and him. It was a profound gift where an animal symbolically takes the place of a person, allowing that person to draw near safely. In fact, Leviticus 17:11 states, "For the life of the flesh is in the blood." So when an Israelite brought a korban, it was a visceral, bloody, and really sobering picture of exactly what our brokenness costs. It wasn't about punishing an innocent animal. It was entirely about substitution. It constantly reminded Israel of God's perfect justice, sure, but also of his incredible, relentless grace. Okay, Section 3, the Architecture of Purity, Symbols, Order, and Life. We are now moving into the undeniably weirdest parts of the book. The dietary laws, the skin diseases, the bodily discharges. Now, if you want to understand this, I need you to completely stop thinking about these rules in terms of hygiene. Instead, start thinking about them in terms of profound symbolism. The anthropologist Mary Douglas actually provided a groundbreaking insight into the logic of these purity laws. She pointed out that clean animals were those that fit neatly into God's created order, like land animals with a cloven hoof that chew the cud. Unclean animals, on the other hand, like pigs or eels, kind of blurred those categories. Furthermore, impurity came from encountering symbols of mortality, like corpses or a loss of life-giving fluids. And get this, impurity was a temporary state, not a sin. These rules were simply a daily physical reminder to live as a people set apart, actively avoiding the symbolism of death. But make no mistake, the stakes here were unimaginably high. Early in the book, we get this haunting reminder of Aaron's 2 sons. Right after they were ordained as priests, they flagrantly violated these exact rules and just waltzed into God's presence anyway. And they were consumed by God's holiness on the spot. It's a terrifying proof that approaching a realm of pure, life-giving goodness while carrying rebellion and symbols of death is absolutely fatal. Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 4, the Day of Atonement, the center of the blueprint. As we saw on our map earlier, this is the theological climax. It's the ultimate linchpin holding this entire sacrificial and purity system together. The Day of Atonement gives us this absolutely stunning 2-part picture of forgiveness, utilizing 2 goats. Step 1 is the first goat, which is sacrificed. Its blood is used to purify and cleanse the physical sanctuary from the defilement of the people's sins. But then we have step 2, the scapegoat. The high priest confesses the sins of Israel, symbolically transferring them to this living goat, which is then led far out into the wilderness. Blood cleanses the relationship, while the scapegoat physically removes the sin from the community forever. It's an amazing visual. Which brings us to Section 5, the Holiness Code, the outward ripple. Having dealt with the core issue of ritual sin right at the center, the book dramatically shifts its focus outward. It basically moves from showing us how to deal with sin ritually to showing us how to live a holy life practically in our everyday communities. In the ethics of a set-apart people, we actually find the incredibly famous command, love your neighbor as yourself. Being holy meant treating the poor with true dignity. It meant maintaining high sexual integrity and dealing honestly in your everyday business transactions. Being holy meant reflecting the character of a Kadosh God in absolutely everything you do. It proves there is literally no divide between the sacred and the secular. Finally, Section 6, fulfilling the blueprint, the ultimate builder arrives. Because for as intricate and beautiful as this ancient system was in what it taught, it was only temporary in what it accomplished. I mean, it had to be repeated year after grueling year. It was crying out for a final, permanent solution. And this brilliantly illustrates what the New Testament reveals. Jesus is the ultimate korban. The book of Hebrews tells us that Jesus steps right into this blueprint as the perfect, sinless high priest. On the cross, he fulfills both parts of the Day of Atonement simultaneously. He is the purification offering whose blood cleanses us, and he is the ultimate scapegoat who removes our sins completely and forever. The crucial point here is beautifully simple. You don't have to clean yourself up to come to God. You come to God to be made clean. I really want you to let the profound comfort of that sink in. Holiness is not a standard you achieve so that God will finally love you. It is a status he graciously gives you because he already does. So let's redefine what holiness means for us today. First off, God cares deeply about the details of your physical, everyday life. It all matters. Second, he takes your impurity and sin with radical seriousness. But third, the ultimate solution is a gift to be received, not something you have to earn. And finally, because Jesus closed the gap, we have now become the very temple where God dwells. We are invited directly into his sphere of order and life. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Will you allow God's life-giving presence to reorder every part of your everyday world from the inside out? When you finally see the full picture, you realize Leviticus isn't some dead rule book where reading plans go to die. It is the very architecture of life itself. Thank you so much for exploring this incredible blueprint with me, and I'll see you in the next explainer.